Good evening and welcome to the Daily Report. Tonight with me, Victor Muyakane. Of course, on sign language, we have none other than Catherine Similoy. Catherine, I hope I got it right, your sign language name. Thank you so much to people at home for joining us. You know it. It's Tuesday. Later on, we will have the People's Court. And tonight, you liked it so much, we decided to do a part 2. It's a conversation you don't want to miss. It's about you and I and the future of our country. But first, to give you a glimpse of what we have in store for you tonight, we have the highlights. Conflicting accounts from police and family members have raised serious questions about the circumstances surrounding the abduction of Juja MP George Koimburi, who was later found abandoned and critically injured in a coffee plantation.
The MP only resurfaced yesterday coinciding with the abduction claims.
A section of members of parliament are demanding the arrest of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua after his controversial remarks where he likened the 2007 post-election violence to a Christmas party.
The kind of incitement they saw from the same person, because he believes in bloodshed, that unless people die, he cannot achieve his mission, Honorable Speaker.
Governors have expressed frustration over the devolution docket being housed under the Deputy President's office, arguing that its diminished status compared to when it operated as a full ministry has hindered the achievement of its full potential.
The disbursement schedule as we sit here has not been released to the Treasury.
Our coverage begins now. The National Police Service now says that preliminary investigations into the alleged abduction of Juja Member of Parliament George Koimburi have revealed significant inconsistencies. According to the Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja, a visit to the reported scene of the incident showed no alignment with the location depicted in videos circulating online, which purportedly show Koimburi in distress. Mike Kagwongo reports.
Police have discovered dubious discrepancies between the video that was making rounds online and the site where Georgia MP George Koimburi was discovered.
Upon comparing vegetations and road dimensions at the scene with those in the video, it was established that the two did not match.
According to Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja, a caretaker of the farm where Koimburi was found, which ostensibly belonged to the businessman cum politician Jimmy Wanjigi, denied seeing anything related to the unfolding events on Monday morning.
Moses Kariuki, the caretaker of the coffee farm, which is owned by one Jimmy Wanjigi, stated that he had not witnessed such an incident.
While discrediting Koimburi's statement, IG Kanja said the MP was driven to the hospital using his own vehicle. As attempts to question the hospital where he purportedly received first aid also proved futile.
The hospital did not disclose the nature of the treatment or the first aid administered, making it difficult to assess the extent of the alleged injuries.
Also, Kanja doubted Koimburi's information about which hospital he was first taken to and what services he was provided with and by whom.
The investigating team has interviewed and recorded statements from 5 individuals, with several more expected to provide their accounts.
We want to say shame on anybody who thinks a Mheshimiwa like this can abduct himself. And you want us police to believe your story?
Kanja went on to say the MP will be questioned at the earliest moment possible, as detectives were previously not allowed to see him.
The MP only resurfaced yesterday coinciding with the abduction claims.
IG Kaja, please you can tell that story to the bands, not to Kenyans. It doesn't make sense. Abductions and all forms of extrajudicial processes must come to an end in this country.
Speaker of the National Assembly Moses Wetangula also directed members of the Security Committee to visit Koimburi in hospital and report to Parliament on his condition as part of his call for a parliamentary investigation into alleged kidnapping.
The IG and other security agencies, including the Minister for Security, so that they can be able to get at least some preliminary facts.
The Speaker also advised members of Parliament and public at large to be more vigilant about their security in efforts to avoid similar circumstances in future. The legislator, who is presently receiving treatment at a hospital in Karen, Nairobi, has been on government's radar since he accused Kenya Kwanza of spending over 13 billion shillings of taxpayers' money to woo African presidents to support former Prime Minister Raila Odinga's failed bid for the AUC chairpersonship. Mike Kagwango, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mike, for that. Now, MPs are calling for the arrest of former DP Rigathi Gachagua following controversial remarks he made during a recent media interview in which he referred to the 2007 post-election violence as a Christmas party. Lawmakers argue that Gachagua's comments are inflammatory and could fuel ethnic tensions and violence as the country heads towards the 2027 general elections. They are now urging the Inspector General of Police to compel Gachagua to appear before the National Cohesion and Integration Commission for questioning.
Members of Parliament today have weighed in on the remarks by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua that likened the 2007-2008 post-election violence to a Christmas party, arguing that if left unchecked, such remarks could escalate ethnic tensions ahead of the 2027 elections.
Usipoziba ufa utajenga ukuta, Mr. Speaker. If we do not arrest this matter as early as now, Mr. Speaker, this is a man who has lost his head. This is a man who has lost his soul, and he wants to take this country to the precipice so that people can fight, Mr. Speaker.
I know he's only served one term in Parliament, so he may not understand. And half a term as a Deputy President. But Speaker, there is always opportunities. Let him relax because he says he's a man of God, or at least he says his wife Dorcas is a woman of God. Let them appeal to God and use their godly words to bring unity to the country.
Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua declined to honor summons issued by the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, accusing the NCIC of bias and selective application of the law, arguing that the commission has failed to act against President William Ruto's allies, who have also made inflammatory remarks.
Honorable Speaker, I'll take you back to the events of last year. Kenyans will remember on the 25th of June, after what happened, Honorable Speaker, the kind of incitement they saw from the same person, because he believes in bloodshed, that unless people die, he cannot achieve his mission, Honorable Speaker.
So such a person is not a leader, he's a criminal, and we should be discussing how we should have him arrested and charged for those crimes, contrary to the NCIC Act. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The MPs now want the Inspector General of Police to compel Rigathi Gachagua to honor the summons by the NCIC.
Honorable Speaker, I seconded the motion of his impeachment when it came to this motion. But I think it is not enough, Honorable Speaker. I think Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua must be brought back to this House for another impeachment.
Sheila Chelangat for TV47.
Now, folks, the push for devolution to drive Kenya's development appears to be losing momentum, according to the Council of Governors, when they express deep concern over the downgrading of the devolution docket from a fully fledged ministry to a department within the Deputy President's office. The COG argues that this shift has weakened the focus and effectiveness of devolved governance, becoming a major obstacle to unlocking the county's full potential. Our reporter, Willie Dennis Njiru, has this report.
Speaking at the second Devolution Support Program Forum held at Naivasha Hotel, governors emphasized the need for a fully fledged self-governing Ministry of Devolution. This as they argued that the current framework lacks the autonomy and the capacity required to unlock the full potential of devolution.
When we began this devolution journey, we had a Ministry of Devolution under the current governor of Kirinyaga, Governor Waiguru. Suddenly, after some time, it became a small department somewhere. Today, it is a state department. So what are we saying? Is that our commitment to devolution? What we are saying is we would want a fully fledged ministry that is really ensuring that we stop teetering and we walk straight and make giant steps towards full realization of devolution.
Governors also expressed concerns that devolution is under threat, citing delays in disbursing funds from the State Interest and Governance Authority, SIGA, as a major obstacle affecting counties' performance and development.
It cannot be normal that funds that are supposed to be used the whole year are only made available for 1 month. The SIGA was passed 1 month ago, which is just 1 month to end of financial year. It was signed about 2 or 3 weeks ago. The disbursement schedule as we sit here has not been released to the Treasury by the Senate. By the time those monies hit the accounts, it will just be days to the end of the financial year, not months.
They also defended the Council of Governors, reaffirming its role as the official implementer of devolution programs. They also noted that the inconsistent flow of funds to counties have been extremely frustrating and counties hinder service delivery.
When and until we address that issue of timely release of all disbursements, then some of these programs may always be having a reporting of below 50% in terms of performance. And you cannot blame it to the governors, you can't blame it to the county governments, we can't blame it to implementing agencies, including the north themselves.
Despite these concerns, the governors acknowledge that some counties are still grappling with serious irregularities in the appropriation and management of funds, issue that remain a significant challenge.
For those of us who are in office now, and at a point at this, we must fight for devolution, because it is the only way that we will transform our country. And devolution was not born out of an individual's mind. It was born out of the minds of Kenyans who fought and said, yes, this is the way to go.
The forum, supported by the World Bank, aims to educate and sensitize county leaders on maximizing the impact of funded projects through effective governance and transparency. For TV47 from Naivasha, I'm Willie Dennis Njiro.
How are you?
Now, the 27th National Defence College graduation ceremony was held at the college headquarters in Karen, Nairobi, where a total of 66 participants from the course 27 of 2024-2025, including 18 international participants, successfully graduated. The ceremony, presided over by the Defence Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya, marked the culmination of the NDC's one-year course. The program included participants from the Kenya Defence Forces, as well as personnel from various ministries and state departments in Kenya and from over 10 foreign nations. Lieutenant General Juma Muyakane, the commandant of the NDC, emphasized the significance of the training, highlighting that the diverse backgrounds of the graduates brings invaluable experience and perspective. The NDC program integrates both professional and academic components, aiming to provide advanced education and strategic training in national security, policy, and leadership, preparing participants to address complex security challenges and contribute to informed decision-making.
The National Defence College was established in 1997 with a clear mission, that is to prepare selected senior military officers, equivalent senior civil servants of the Republic of Kenya and their counterparts from allied countries for higher responsibilities in the management of security and related areas of public policy.
Your diversity is not only a strength, but also a testament to the strategic importance of this course. You represent a rich tapestry of expertise, cultures, and experience, a powerful illustration of the collaboration required in today's interconnected security landscape.
All right, on to other news, and a Nairobi-based lawyer has moved to court seeking to stop President William Ruto from appointing more presidential advisors, terming it unconstitutional. The lawyer, Soyinka Lempa, has filed an urgent petition at the High Court, accusing the head of state of creating what he describes as a parallel civil service through the appointment of numerous presidential advisors. In his petition, Lempa argues that the advisors, 21 of whom are named in the suit, were not subjected to a competitive recruitment process as required by law. He is now seeking an order to bar the National Treasury from paying their salaries and allowances.
A petition against the so-called presidential advisors. We do know that these advisors are being appointed on a daily basis. Last week alone, I think the former Speaker of Turkana was appointed as a presidential advisor. And if you look at the work these advisors are purporting to do or purported to be appointed to do, are things that can be done by so many technocrats that are in various government ministries. There is nothing that the so-called legal advisors or human rights advisors can advise the president, which the office of the Attorney General cannot. Because rarely do we even see those advisors coming to court to defend the government. So we have filed a petition stating, not even alleging, stating that those particular appointees are duplicative because there is a very competent civil service that we believe is underpaid, but these political appointees and cronies are paid millions of shillings. Only last week we heard that some of these appointees who are sacked as cabinet secretaries and permanent secretaries like Dr. Edward Kisiangani and Moses Kuria earn equal salary with that of cabinet secretaries. And we are saying that is an imprudent use of public resources contrary to known values of public finances.
Now, over to matters crime, and a suspect in the murder case of the late Kasipul Member of Parliament Charles Ongondowere, Philip Akoko, has been released on a cash bail of 300,000 shillings by the Kibera High Court, pending the hearing of his case. Justice Diana Mochache ordered that Akoko deposit his passport with the court and refrain from travelling to Homa Bay County or its environs. The court also directed him not to contact his co-suspect or any other witnesses involved in the case. The decision followed submissions by the prosecution, which informed Judge Kavedza that they no longer required Akoko to remain in custody, as he had already provided sufficient statements. The case is set to be mentioned on June the 26th.
2 days as submitted by the prosecution counsel and shall be directed accordingly about the time which he shall be reporting. The respondent is barred and prohibited from the following: in any way trying to access the witnesses, the victims, and the suspects being held in custody either by yourself or through proxy. The respondent shall deposit his passport with the Deputy Registrar, Kibera High Court. If it is at Jomo Kenyatta, it should be brought to Kibera. And finally, the respondent shall not set foot in Homa Bay or be seen anywhere near the boundary of Homa Bay County, pending finalization of the application before this court.
Doctors in Kiamu County have downed their tools and commenced a strike, citing delayed salary payments, health insurance concerns, as well as stalled promotions as key grievances that they want addressed by the Kiamu County government. Speaking during a media briefing at the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union offices in Nairobi, the KMPDU Central Branch Chairman, Dr. James Githinji, announced that hospitals in Kiambu would remain closed until the doctors' demands are met. Dr. Githinji also expressed concern over the state of healthcare in the county, revealing that Kiambu has recorded the highest number of doctor resignations due to poor working conditions. The strike began on Tuesday after an unsuccessful attempt by the Kiambu County government to block it through a court injunction.
The union makes us strong.
Of alcoholics who are brought about by poor remunerations. Governor and his county executive team in charge of health has decided to go on strike. It's not the doctors that have gone on strike. It's the county that has gone on strike on you. And what we as doctors have decided to do in this period is to reorganize how we will run healthcare for the people of Kiamu during this period of industrial action.
All right. Now over to other news, and the Deputy President Kithure Kindiki today made an impromptu inspection of the ongoing construction of the Isiolo-Mandera Highway, pledging commitment to the delivery of the flagship infrastructure project. During his visit, Kindiki stated that the road will play a key role in enhancing security, combating banditry and terrorism, and accelerating economic growth in the region, which he said has long been marginalized. The highway will connect the counties of Meru, Isiolo, Garissa, Wajir, and Mandera.
Alia ujenzi wa barabara kuu ambayo ni barabara ya kuunganisha mji wa Isiolo na mji wa Mandera katika sehemu ya kaskazini mashariki. Barabara hii ni barabara ambayo itagharimu bilioni 100 na itaunganisha counties za Isiolo, Meru, Garissa, Wajir na Mandera. Barabara hii ni takriban kilomita 749. Mwezi wa Septemba mwaka wa 2022 ndio ujenzi umeanza, na kwa sababu ni barabara ndefu na tunataka ikamilike katika muda wa miaka 2, nimesema ya kwamba barabara hii itaboresha usalama, pia itaboresha uchumi wa sehemu hii ambao kwa muda mingi imebaki nyuma kwa sababu ya kukosa miundo misingi.
All right, over to business news, and the Connected Africa Summit 2025 has officially commenced, bringing together over 1,200 delegates from 24 countries to advance Africa's digital transformation. The 4-day event focuses on the implementation of the Nairobi Declaration, with ICT Authority CEO Stanley Kamanguya emphasizing its importance. The ICT CS, William Kabogo, addressed the summit's theme, which centers on turning Africa's digital vision into tangible outcomes for sustainable development and economic opportunity. He also highlighted Kenya's leadership in digital transformation and the continent's shared digital future. Key topics of discussion include youth empowerment, innovation, policy harmonization, and digital inclusion. Safaricom also reiterated its commitment to fostering inclusive digital experiences. The summit features African innovation showcases and a Women in Tech session.
AI in the next 5 years will be all over the place. Everyone trying out everything. But the real disruption will come between 2030 and 2040. And this young man is not a witch, neither is he crazy. Because he knows, he can sense what's going to happen.
AI will be transformative in Africa as it accelerates the journey that we have as on the African continent to drive productivity, to drive cost improvements across all important sectors, be it education, healthcare, or agriculture.
Now, retail supermarkets are teaming up with fuel stations to provide greater convenience for customers, adopting a popular value chain expansion strategy seen in the West. Olivier Sabri, the managing director of Rubis, said that offering greater value to clients helps retain long-term customers and ensures symbiotic growth for retailers and stakeholders in the oil and gas sector.
The filling station is to be a one-stop place where everybody comes. Okay, we start by the fuel, then you have a lubricant, you can buy LPG for your family, and after that you have a shop, Enjoy Shop, okay, the Castrol lubricants, and you have sometimes some restaurants which you have Café Le Vent here.
Right, in other news, President William Ruto hosted leaders from Mombasa, Tana River, Kilifi, Lamu, Kwale and Taita Taveta counties at State House, Nairobi, for discussions focusing on uplifting the coastal region's economy through initiatives in agriculture, the blue economy and the maritime sector. The president noted significant progress in resolving historical land injustices, eliminating squatter issues and issuing of title deeds. He expressed optimism that Kenya's economic trajectory is on the right track, stating that the national growth has now surpassed that of Ethiopia and Angola, an indication of robust development and successful regional revitalization efforts.
We must do something about the port of Mombasa to make it much more efficient. Imagine, we are making only 6 billion shillings. We can make 50 billion from Mombasa port. Why do you want us to make 6 billion when we can make 50? And we can employ more people. We can make the port much more efficient. We can connect the port to SGR. SGR will be making money. The port will be making money. We will be doing something better.
Now, over to some sports news, and the 6th edition of the much-awaited Kipko Classic Continental Tour is just 3 days away, with the final touches being completed at the Ulinzi complex ahead of the showpiece event. Over 80 international athletes are expected to take part in the annual event, alongside hundreds of Kenya's top athletes, including Africa's 100-meter champion Ferdinand Omanyala, Mary Moraa, as well as former Olympic silver medalist Julius Yego, and many others. More than 10,000 sports enthusiasts are expected to attend, with tickets selling for as low as 200 Kenya shillings.
Absa Kipko Classic is the one event in the continent of Africa that you will get the best racers coming, the best throwers coming, the best field event athletes are coming, and they come here and they present a global show. Yeah, and why is because even guys out there, you'd like to go and compete in the home of champions, and Kenya is the home of champions where athletics is called.
We filled Kasarani Stadium. We filled Nyayo Stadium as that last year, which was our first time to be at Nyayo Stadium. And this year we've taken, our next step to Ulinzi Sports Complex, which is on Langata Road. We're not afraid that it won't be filled. I know it will be filled to the brim, and I'm encouraging Kenyans to come through and see their sportsmen on home ground. Yes, the stadium is smaller, but it doesn't mean that you don't get an opportunity to even catch the action.
Ladies and gentlemen, Victor is back. I'm talking about the former Harambee Stars captain Victor Wanyama, who's among the 25-man provisional squad named by Harambee Stars head coach Benny McCarthy. The veteran midfielder has come out of international retirement, of course, in something really, really exciting, to rejoin the national team ahead of the international friendlies against Chad, scheduled for June the 7th and June the 10th of this year, to be held in Morocco. Notable new inclusions into this particular team are Kenneth Nyamwaya and Swale Pamba, both earning their maiden call-ups to the senior team. The squad features a balanced mix of seasoned players, seasoned campaigners, and exciting new talent. Players are expected to report to camp on Friday, June the 2nd, for the preparation of these matches. Now, folks, listen, that is just a bit of a glimpse into what is happening across our world. Of course, for much more comprehensive and insightful coverage of what's happening, please go on to TV47 Digital and you can be able to find all the stories in a whole lot more detail. Please watch our YouTube coverage, our news coverage on YouTube. All the bulletins today and all the other bulletins that we have in store there, and you'll be able to get a much more comprehensive look at what is happening. Now, the conversation we've all been waiting for. Last week we had this conversation and the webs, the conversations, the rooms were buzzing with excitement, with the opinions and views and reviews on what we had last Tuesday. Tonight, we want to refocus the conversation. We've brought in many of the people that were there last week, and we've brought in some new perspectives to help us delve deeper into this subject. Clearly, this is something you don't want to miss. We'll be right back after these messages.
Coming up after the break.
Tonight, we delve into the true cost of seeking elective office, examining the systemic barriers confronting young aspirants, the tension between running on party tickets versus as independents, and the growing crisis of voter apathy across the country.